that you'll better understand and we can better make sense of some of the stories that Jill and Dana will tell you about their jail experience, is that through starting a peer tutoring program, those inmates that can read, tutoring those that are having problems, yes, there's literacy, but there's hope is born.
Yeah.
And what happens is there's something inside that they never felt they were worthwhile. They themselves did not trust themselves. They didn't think they were good people. And for the first time, they've opened up and they've looked beyond themselves and they've helped somebody freely, and they've seen the exchange. They've felt what's happened. And so that self-esteem that they have now received and the hope for that better future and that they're a better person is what we've kind of built all of this. And it was a surprise to us too. We had no idea it was going to do that.
So you didn't plan this program, right? It was born organically. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say this. Kathy's touching on why it's an emotional experience, whether we're experiencing helping people build literacy inside the jail or in the community. Because by working together in partnership, we witness people having transformative experiences in their lives, truly coming alive and feeling that, wow, I know myself. I have a place in this world. And some just specific things working in the jail program, part of that coming alive is for the first time, these men and women are able to, wow, I can now read a book to my child.
That's incredible.
And that's where it really starts, working on the literacy from 0 to 5, is if we're able to help these men and women build their skills, they can then start to pass those along with their very young children.
And so when you say they're coming alive, what are you seeing that indicates that? How do you know?
Well, they tell us.
Yeah, they tell us. I mean, it's a sparkle in their eyes. When we walk on the pod, they have their dictionary underneath their arm with the biggest smile on their face, coming to Project Read, coming to study with their tutor, to somebody who's sitting there waiting for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
I can remember one young man, 18 years old, came up to Dana and myself, glowing, a smile on his face, saying, I just took the GED test. I just decided to sit down and take the test today, and was just so excited. He thought that he did brilliantly. It was amazing. And then when the results came in 2 weeks later, he comes, just so excited, coming to us again, saying, I passed. And it's because of Project Read. It's because I'm reading books now. You're helping me build my vocabulary, and now I just have so much determination. He used that word, probably never in his life has he used the word determination and understood what it meant. I am determined to make changes in my life.
Wow,
and
that's powerful.
My tutor told me I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think coming from us is wonderful, the encouragement, something about the peer tutoring. We actually based this peer tutoring inmate program on a program that we had to help teens in our community.
Tell me about that.
We have some teens, unfortunately, that are only reading at the 2nd or 3rd grade, 4th grade level, that are in high schools, and that the high schools have really, they know that they're about 98% likely not to be able to graduate because they're so far behind. And I must tell you, it starts in kindergarten. Children who aren't read to and don't have preschools start kindergarten about 3 or 4 years behind their peers, and it snowballs after that. There's no catch up. If they have low literate parents, they're never going to catch up.
You use the word low literate, and excuse me, because us normal people here, when you say low literate, what does that mean?
It actually, most people would say illiterate.
Illiterate,
but what we have found in speaking with our learners, no matter if they're children or they're adults, the word illiterate is so hurtful and demeaning, they feel, because of ill. They said, I'm sick then, something's wrong with me. But if I'm not yet literate or I'm low literate, it's the hope.
You're capable.
It's the hope that I'm on a journey, I'm on a path to do something. But if I'm illiterate, and we've heard that so many times, and so we just tried not to use the term at all.
That's interesting. Now, are people around the country doing this? Is this newer to your organization?
I know in California, this is something that is spoken about always in the California Library Literacy Campaign and through these library-based nonprofit literacy programs, because we hear this directly from the people that we're working with, and we can exchange this information with each other. And so we can be very careful, and we can be very empathetic, and we can be very, I think, progressive in the materials and the methods that we use.
So here's people who've never really read before using words like determined. I love that. Passing GEDs, reading to their children, right? And I love the janitor story. They, you know, and all these people that you've touched and impacted. What happens to them? Have you heard the follow-up stories?
When we first started this program, we thought, what are some of the real solid benchmarks? So we would know that we really are helping in the community. How will we know this? And naturally, retention, which it's about 100%.
Yeah.
We have a long waiting list. Well, people stay in the program until they are functionally literate and beyond. When we opened it up to the children, I was starting to tell you about the Kids in Partnership program that we have, where high school students work with our AmeriCorps members and my staff, and then they tutor, so they learn through teaching first, second, or third graders who are also academically at risk. And since we've had the program about 9 years, and about 7 years ago, I suddenly thought I should keep track to see how many were graduating. Not one has not graduated, and almost everyone has gone on to college.
Oh,
Community college or four-year college. Because sitting down one-on-one with someone, your reading level, your skill level can go up in just a year or two. It's amazing how quickly you can become literate when you're working with somebody who is giving freely and just cares about you and has the right approach and a variety of materials.
And you train them in all of this,
we
true?
do, yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, we do.
And so learning how to read is absolutely, what I'm hearing, very essential for, shall we say, avoiding crime, for having a better life, for teaching your children, right? And I also hear that a lot of people know how to hide it well. I think probably more so than we all know. You know, people we know who are hiding it. So it's interesting, like, what are some signs we could watch out for to be able to help people who are perhaps, what do you call it?
Non-literate or low-literate.
Yeah, like what's a cue for
that?
that?
I think a lot of times they've left their glasses at home. Sometimes if it's a child, if the child is so embarrassed, it's a horrible thing to go to class every day and not have your homework and not be able to read out loud without being hesitant or miscuing, making mistakes, or maybe not even recognizing the words. You become separated, you are put in special classes. It's just one humiliation after another. And so many times those children are sick a lot. They act out a lot. They're angry. You see some young mothers that maybe don't want to go to the doctors because they don't understand. They don't even know where to go to get the prescriptions. We've got a learner who left the hospital because he didn't know where X-ray was. And so you
couldn't read the signs.
Right.
Yeah, for X-ray,
handing
right?
someone a form, sometimes if you say, can you fill this out, or would you like me, or would you just like to tell me and I'll fill it out, that could be a very big cue that there is some sort of a learning problem there, a reading problem, a spelling problem, that they're very, very sensitive about.
Yeah, well, that's good to know, and I think good for all of us. I think you also had a poem, didn't you?
Oh, yes, and it actually touches right on your message of hope, and also how education and literacy plays a part in this. So I'm just going to read a couple lines of this, but it's a poem.
Let me just say, this was written by?
It's a poem that I actually wrote, inspired by the men and women who are working so hard in our program. Wonderful. So it's called Creating Hope When Justice is Deferred. For many, hope is lost or does not seem attainable. Drugs, poverty, diseducation, illiteracy, and violence have created a culture of hopelessness. Justice, this is not. By coming together, we learn how to read, learn how to write, learn to put down the gun, learn that there is more to life than the next hit, learn that together we create hope. Together we see our beauty in each other. In this, there is hope, alone we are not.
Well, I may have to acquire that as the theme poem for Messages of Hope. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. And I love the prisoner poems. I mean, the things that you must be seeing every day, real life, true lessons of what's happening, I think is so inspiring. And I'm sure our viewers might want to get in touch with you. Could you state how to connect to you?
Well, we are based at the Redwood City Public Library, and it's Redwood City Project Read. So anyone that would like to get in touch with us can simply go online and either go to Project Read,
Read.
our website, Redwood City Project Read, or they can go to the Redwood City Public Library, and there is a button right on the very front page of that website that says Project Read, and that will bring you directly to our site and have all the information of all of our emails and our fax number, as well as our website.
And people can, shall we say, sign up to tutor, right? You're always looking for people to help.
Yes.
In unison,
Please.
right?
We have, we serve actively 500 learners matched with 480 tutors every month. These
That's
are
a lot.
unduplicated numbers just in the Redwood City area. And we have a waiting list of a few hundred people, several hundred actually. We've actually started what we call the Family Literacy Instructional Center. It's a drop-in so that while in the waiting list, people can actually be helped. So volunteers working in the Literacy Center or one-on-one tutors working in the jails are really the lifeblood of our organization.
Absolutely, and I've heard this beautiful poetry and direct from the inmates themselves, but if you were to share a message of hope about literacy, about your program, what would it be?
I think some of the things that we have looked at in the past, and it's probably just our reason for being, and that is fueling the fire of hope through literacy and through helping each other. There's just nothing that works better than two people sitting down and just helping each other. And it isn't just receiving by the learner, but it's a shared wonderful experience, and it goes places that you can't get to, and it changes lives. And I think from the first day I walked in this program, I knew that this was big and lives would change, and we get to do it every day, and we're just high on it.
And lucky, and I know that it's certainly touched all of your hearts. I can see why you started the show saying it just grabbed me. I mean, I'm grabbed too. I'm like, I'm ready to sign up. I want to read to people. How beautiful that is, and thank you really for sharing your messages of hope, each one of you, your poetry, your inmate stories, the real people stories, and how much we really appreciate that.
Thank you for having us, Jill. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And you've been watching Messages of Hope. I hope that you've been inspired by tonight's story, that you go out and make a difference and keep hope alive in your heart and in your life. Good night. Thanks for watching.